go.
Sunday, January 1, 2023. Glad to see you here tonight. We were off last week because of Christmas and a few other things, so we took the week off. We went skiing. I'll tell you a little bit more about that. Dan Grider, Probable Cause, glad to have you with us. Happy New Year. We stayed out late last night. I can't tell you all the details, but it did involve a live band and some great food and the UGA game. I don't know if you saw the UGA game. That was probably the game of the century, and we watched it on the big screen there. UGA won by 1 point. Honestly, I did not think that they were going to pull this thing out at the very end, and they came back and did it, and it was a fantastic game. Ironically, that game ended up, the closing countdown for the game mirrored the closing countdown for the end of the year. Like, how weird is that? But anyway, UGA's up, and I guess UGA is going on to play TCU for the championship here real soon. So congratulations to both those teams, TCU and UGA. Of course, UGA is going to win. There's no real point even playing that game, but I guess for ticket sales and marketing and stuff like that, I guess they'll go ahead and play it anyway. TCU, in my opinion, doesn't really stand a chance. UGA is the only team. I'm just kidding you. My son Drew graduated from UGA. We try to attend a lot of the UGA functions. Happy New Year to you. Glad to have you with us. So I want to give you a 2022 recap. Tell you just a little bit about what's going on. This video tonight will be a little bit different than my normal Sunday evening videos because I haven't had the chance to recap the last 7 days accident data, so I'm going to leave that out. I'll kind of get caught up again next week because of the holidays and the juxtaposed schedules and all those kind of things. But a couple of important things here to note. 2022 concludes the second year of my YouTube channel. I've had the YouTube channel for about like 16 years, but I never did anything with it until 2 years ago when I changed the name to Probable Cause Dan Grider and I turned it on. So here's the screen graphics for it. You can see it stayed flatline all the way up until 2 years ago when I turned the thing on. So as of today, I think we're around 95,000 subscribers. Currently running a solid number 2, number 3 nationwide in aviators in minutes watched per 28 days, which is really the only metric that I care about. So the message is getting out there. So let's talk about what is the message. The entire point of this YouTube channel for me is reducing the general aviation fatal accident rate, which in my opinion is completely absurd. Our government is spending money to cover these things up, hide the information, hoard the data, and not share it, and we don't ever learn. So the whole idea here is AQP for general aviation. So that begs the question, what is AQP? Well, Advanced Qualification Program is a concept. It's a philosophy. I didn't come up with it. The airlines did it. It basically says that once you get your pilot's license, the maneuvers that you use to get your pilot's license are not the maneuvers that you're going to see. They're not the scenarios that you're going to see once you have a pilot's license and you're out there flying around. What are the things that are going to kill you once you get a private pilot's license? So I adopted the AQP philosophy from the airlines. The only difference is that the airlines in Part 121 have congressional backing. They can actually change the check ride if they want to. We're not asking to change the check ride. The ACS is the ACS. What are some things that you should know about on a voluntary basis? Don't you think it would be important to know about these 20 ways to not kill yourself? So a few years ago, I wrote these down. It's been very successful. I've done a lot of YouTube stuff. This has been really good. AQP for general aviation. It's on several sources now. It's free. I don't have it for sale, and I'm doing a lot of speaking, touring around, and all that kind of stuff for flight schools, 141 schools, people who want to know about the advantages of teaching AQP concepts. Well, what is AQP concept for the 141 school or for the flight instructor? It's adding some things in that aren't in the ACS. Is that legal? Of course it's legal. You can add extra things. What's a good example of something that's not in the ACS that a private pilot sure ought to know about? How about a rejected takeoff? How about a pass-fail criteria on a stabilized approach and knowing what the criteria is for a stabilized approach? All the things that you're going to see once you get to the airlines, if that's the path that you're going, you're going to be doing everything in terms of AQP and all the things above that that you need to see. So that's the whole purpose of this channel. It's gone really good, and I plan to keep on doing it. As you know, it's me. I mix things up, and things go crazy. I do a lot of travel and all kinds of stuff. I throw in music, and this video here also has some music. You're not going to believe at the very end of this thing, we we ended up with a music scene that I'm going to put in here. I shouldn't put it in here, but I'm going to put it in here, even though it's New Year's. It's a Christmas song that we recorded last week while we were on the road. So I apologize for that, but it's really fun. Hang on to the very end, because you're going to see something at the very end of this video that you probably don't see very often, that we recorded with a female Uber driver. I have no idea who she is. Never met her before, but me and Dylan and this girl laid down this one music track while we were on the road, and that worked out really good. So here's the year in review. I started a weight program. I'm down about 35 pounds. I don't know if that's of any interest to you, but it has to do with eating right, eating less junk, doing a little bit of exercise, drinking more water. It's worked really good for me. I'm currently down to about 194. I have a target of getting down below 190, and I think that's going to happen. I feel a whole lot better, and I hope that you in the new year can turn over a new leaf and maybe consider doing some of the very simple things that I did to help alleviate some of that and get rid of some extra weight and make myself a little bit more nimble. In the coming year, I got several, in the last year, 2022, I got several fascinating things that got done. I got to ferry a Beech 18 that hadn't flown for 18 years, and I also got to move Mr. Douglas, the DC-3, formerly owned by Donald Douglas of Santa Monica, California. I got to ferry it. It had not flown for 23 years. We got it down to DeLand, Florida. Here's the graphic for that if you want to help this organization. It's a 501c3 organization, and they could use your help. I'll be doing a lot of that stuff with those guys in the next coming months, getting that airplane ready to go on tour and do some things down there. I really look forward to doing some more things and volunteering. It's all a volunteer thing for me. AAR, Airborne Animal Rescue, is the DC-3 project, has done well. I only started that 6 months ago. I'm going to give you an update because I got some DC-3 footage to show you in flight here in just a few minutes. But my Airborne Animal Rescue efforts have done well. My concept of getting the DC-3 ready, flight ready, maintenance-wise, and getting ahead on parts and a fuel kitty have all worked good. And that's thanks to you. You people who have subscribed to my concept of very tiny little donations on occasion. If you really like the video and you learn something, $1 or $2 has helped a lot. I've put out enough videos that most videos end up generating $700 or $800 that goes towards this kitty, and that helps me a lot. I don't want big donations, and I don't want sponsors, and I don't want big money. That provides the incentive for me to keep on producing quality content that you appreciate, and you can afford $1 electronically towards this. And this is helping both my AQP initiative. It's also helping Airborne Animal Rescue. The concept is to have the DC-3, which is a tremendous load hauling capability, capable of launching to a disaster-stricken area, namely Florida, Louisiana, Mississippi, Panhandle, those kind of places that get hit by hurricanes and tornadoes and things like that, where they have to get a massive amount of dogs or cats or something out of that. Remember, the dog pounds, the humane societies only have one answer. That's euthanizing. When they get full, they don't have any other resource. They cannot afford to truck and do the logistics, so they start euthanizing. And currently, following the any natural disaster like that, that always happens. So my goal is to have the DC-3 flight ready with volunteers, airplane fuel, and fuel kitty and stuff, so that when that call comes in, we don't have to talk about money. We just ask, where would you like us, and where would you like the dogs delivered? Let them do the distribution aspect of that, and it all should work very good. I appreciate your support. It's a great concept. I've done a bunch of that in the past before this got going, but we always had the problem of who's going to pay for the fuel, and I couldn't afford to just donate all that DC-3 flying and stuff like that to get that stuff done. So trying to get some costs covered was always a problem. It's been years since I've done any of that, but now we don't even have to ask the question. Money's not even on the table here. Where do you want us to be, and where do you want these dogs taken is all I want to know, and we're going to go get it done. So I appreciate your support. That's going to be an ongoing thing. If you want to volunteer and help me with that, I need airplane people, I need dog loaders, I need vets, I need people like that. I need coordination people that can help when the phone call comes in to help get these animals coordinated and where they're going to go and all that kind of stuff. So let's move on. Here's the next topic. Yeah, so we just did this ski trip. We decided due to some family health issues and COVID and things like that, we weren't able to do the traditional family Christmas with my parents and my relatives and things like that we normally did. So we elected to go and ski for a few days. Here's a little bit of ski footage of us skiing. Not a lot, but we got a little bit of skiing in here over the holidays here. And here's some footage of that. Now, while I was out there on this trip, me and Dylan ended up on the road together for a couple of days. We decided to stop in Oklahoma City, and I stopped in and visited this airplane crash. This is an F-33 Bonanza Fatal that happened on December 5 at Page Municipal Airport, just outside of Oklahoma City. So I jumped in an Uber to head to the crash site, and once I was there, there's quite a bit of debris there. This is a loss of thrust on takeoff. This accident was definitely loss of thrust on takeoff. It's number 11. Here's the ADS-B data picture of this thing. All 3 people died in this accident. They lost the engine. Ironically, they had tons of runway ahead of them. If they would have lowered the nose, landed straight ahead, they'd be alive today. They didn't. They pulled up, they stalled it, a wing dropped, and they hit vertically. All 3 died in this airplane. That's really the only specific GA accident I'm going to talk about in this video. But I was there. Here's some footage of me at the scene at Page Municipal Airport in Oklahoma City. December 6th, it's an F-33 Bonanza. I'm in Page, Oklahoma. 3 people died on this spot right here. Here it is, right here. This airplane impacted right here. Still lots of debris laying on the ground right here from this crash left over. Here's the propeller dig marks. This airplane was a stall spin. This airplane was a stall spin. Loss of thrust on takeoff is all that happened here. These guys lost an engine. They went out to give a ride on December 6th evening. Clear skies, nice weather, long runway. Lots of remaining runway. They lost an engine, temporarily regained it back for a second, I believe. Still tried to continue the takeoff. If you're out here doing this and you have this kind of a problem, do not try to continue the takeoff. Close the throttle and land straight ahead with remaining runway. Gear up or gear down, doesn't matter. This is what happens. This is scenario number 11. Scenario number 11, loss of thrust on takeoff. It's going to happen to you. You're gonna burn to death. Here's another airplane taking off right here. Runway they've got remaining even from right here. It's really sad to go and visit these places. It's really sad to go and visit these places and see the options these guys had. This is the spot right here where these 3 individuals lost their lives that day. You know, during 2022, I've had some very simple on-screen graphics. A couple things that I've done stabilized approaches. Here's the graphic for stabilized approaches. I wish us GA people would think about stabilized approaches a little bit better. Doesn't have to be quite this tight. It's not a military thing, but think about being stabilized, not going off the end. Be on speed, be on VRF, and be on an approach path, at least for the last couple hundred feet of your day VFR touch-and-go pattern. Be a stabilized approach. When you get to the airlines, you're going to have to be a stabilized approach. Why not start working on being a stabilized approach in your 172 today? Also, here's my best graphic here. Pick one: night, IMC, terrain, or ice. Don't load yourself up. In a single engine airplane, I don't like to fly with any of these. I don't want to go at night or IMC or in terrain or ice. I can do all 4 of these, but I've got to really have some serious equipment to do that. Here's another one that we've talked about in 2022. The endless cycle of the pilot personality and what happens here and how these accidents happen and how we end up with no change and repeat, start back at the top. It always happens. It's an endless cycle. The AQP thing, we've got the paperwork done now where you can do an AQP certification. This is the first for flight instructors. It actually has the words in here, I certify that I've given so-and-so the flight instruction in accordance with an AQP flight review, and I've got the paperwork. It's all available for free. If you want to give an AQP flight review, you get a free hat if you'll send me the documentation. I've got a bunch of people who've already done it, have given out voluntary AQP Flight Reviews signed it off and given me a copy of their sign-off for my records, and that's working good. Free hat if you want to do that. If you want to do an AQP Flight Review, if you are a person who was the recipient of an AQP Flight Review, you also get a free hat. You send me the stuff, send me snail mail. The documentation for that and the PDF on how to do that is on our Facebook page, AQP and Coffee, and I hope that you'll take advantage of that in the near future. We also did a whole bunch of stuff here with the hats. The last batch of 100 hats I sold out just before Christmas. I had ran one little ad, and the debate with Dylan was what pricing should be. So what I said was, you send me whatever you want to send me. If you can't afford a hat, I'll still send you a hat. And I want you to know that worked out totally fine. We got our costs covered, our mailing costs covered, our cost of containers covered. You have to put them in a little envelope. So we broke even easily on that, and it was not a problem. There's quite a few people requested a hat and said they didn't have any money. We went ahead and sent them a hat. And there's quite a few people who overpaid. They gave like a $50 for a hat and said keep the excess to try to help cover those who wanted a hat that couldn't afford one. So Christmas holidays, I thought that worked out really good. Dylan's got the thing set up for a mug if you want an AQP Airborne Animal Rescue coffee mug. He's got 2 sizes, and he's going to start doing some more stuff with merch here going forward. The cost of those things is set up so that separate handlers doing all that. I don't think Dylan's making but like $1 or $2 per mug after it's all said and done, and I think he's only sold like 30 mugs, so it's not a big money thing. But if you like some product, that at least gives us an avenue for buying something if you want to, and helps alleviate that. Let's go on and look at the next topic here. Let's go on and take a look at the next topic here, which is the DC-3. It's been down for several months here, waiting on parts and waiting on things. So we finally got this going. Here's an interesting thing. We had to swap a mag and do mag timing. I got my friend David, who volunteered to come up, and I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but timing on a mag, there's 4 magnetos on the DC-3. We definitely had to swap out a mag that had gone bad, but the question is how to time that new mag that we installed. And I had my old previous method of what we had always done in the past, but David showed me the proper way to get 25 degrees before top dead center via a gizmo. And if you think about this, an engine's going to make a rotation. This piston's going up and down in the cylinder. It's coming up twice. It's coming up once on the compression stroke, and it's coming up once on the exhaust stroke. How do we know when this piston is at 25 degrees top dead center? And what is 25 degrees? 25 degrees of what? It can't be propeller arc because the propeller is geared. So that's a fascinating concept. We got the whole thing changed around. Here's a real quick clip of David explaining how he finds 25 degrees before top dead center on a Pratt & Whitney 1830 radial engine. All right, David, tell me what you're doing here. We're trying to time this magneto. What's the process here?
Okay, there's 2 timings on the magneto. One is internal, it's done on the bench. The other is timing it to the engine. So the magneto has to be installed such that when the engine #1 cylinder, #1 piston is 25 degrees before top dead center, you get a spark.
So our problem is how to find 25 degrees. So show me the gizmo that you installed into the top plug on #1 cylinder.
Right. It's called a time right. It's a Pratt & Whitney design tool. I think this one was made by Gab though. And it has a feeler that goes down inside the cylinder. We pull the spark plug out, we thread the time right in, and it's got a probe that rests on top of the piston so that as we rotate the engine in the normal direction of rotation,
it's sending a shaft down in to touch the top of that piston head.
Pushing that probe up, and as it pushes the probe up, it slides that indicator along the white scale.
All right, if you can hold the light and wiggle the prop about an inch at the same time.
Impossible.
Impossible? All right, but if we wiggle the prop, we would see that indicator.
We would see that little slider move up and down.
Yeah. And
so we started, it's a 2-step process. We started by rotating the engine through a circle, and we found the compression stroke on #1 cylinder. And we with the time right installed, we found top dead center, and then we zeroed the scale at top dead center.
And then backed up the prop.
Then we backed the prop up, reset the slider on the time right, and moved the prop again until it indicated 25 degrees.
And now we're fixing to run it, see what happens.
Yeah, right away. Now we'll put the spark plug in first.
So after it was all said and done, yesterday we made a test flight. I was going to have Christy, my co-pilot friend, come and make the test flight with me, and the weather was kind of bad in Atlanta, so we used aeronautical decision-making, kind of waved off of that, and we're not able to fly. In the afternoon, Perez was available. He came down, and he sat left seat for the test flight. Everything worked really good. Here's a little bit of video of the takeoff if you want to see that. All right, you want to read me the before takeoff checklist right there?
Seatbelt sign.
It's on.
Propellers.
Forward.
Mixtures.
Auto rich.
Pitot heat.
Off.
And it's your apparel warning lights.
They're all checked.
Flaps.
They're up and indicating.
Trim.
0, 0, and I'm going to set -2 right here for our weight balance.
Departure briefing.
Runway heading. Going to stay beneath the clouds. We're going to get up to about 1,000 feet. If we have any problems, we're going to come back here. If we have a really big problem, we're going to go to Hampton, which is a left-hand turn. If we have a fire problem, we're going to Hartsfield, and I got departure frequencies set in there. Let them know we're coming if we needed fire and rescue or anything like that, which I doubt. But if we have any kind of a nuisance problem, we're just going to come back in here and land on either 14 or 32, probably 32. You're flying the airplane just like we previously briefed. I'm expecting an engine failure. When it happens, engine failure, gear up, identify, verify, feather. Climb out straight ahead, wings level, straight ahead. We'll verify it. We're on the checklist. You're always flying the airplane until you hear me say the magic words, which is,
I got the plane.
I got it. Okay. All right, you good on that?
Yep. Flight attendant.
They're notified and acknowledged.
Unpicked doors and windows.
Closed and locked.
Exterior lights.
They are set.
Fuel boost pumps.
They're on.
Transponder.
On.
Now flaps.
Trail.
Tail wheel.
It's locked. All right, I'm going to transfer control to you.
Control. I got the controls.
Got the controls.
I'm leaving forward stick, right?
Yeah, we're going to start off with forward stick there. All right, put your right hand right here. I'm going to help you with some power here. DC-3 is departing 14 Griffin. All right, feet on the bottom part of the pedals.
Bottom part of the pedals.
Yep, coming into some power. There you go. Now it's a rudder airplane. Now push on the yoke, push, push more, push. All pressures are good. Everything's good. Easy, easy on your feet. Just relax. You're good. Just relax. There's 80 knots. B2. Rotate. Put your right hand on the yoke. Right hand. There you go. Come on up. Nice and easy. Hold her steady. Positive rate. Hold her right there. Beautiful. And then nice.
Nice.
Nice, easy climbing left-hand turn. You want about 120 knots. There you go. Good. All right, Perez. It's the last day of 2022, Perez. I have to tell you, there is no better way to end this year than flying with my buddy Perez. Totally awesome. And then here's a little bit of a clip of us in flight talking about airborne animal rescue, and I'm kind of explaining what we're doing with the DC-3 and how that whole thing works. Here's us in flight.
All right, so it's the last day of 2022. What's your most profound thought for YouTube right now? Everybody's listening to Perez, so give us your best shot. Come on.
I didn't stage any of this.
Stage. Tell me what you think.
I think I had a pretty good year for last year. I had all kinds of highs, not many lows. So
Yeah, when you finished your private pilots
in February,
and now you got how many hours now?
I think I'm 250, 260, something like that.
Yep. And soon to be commercial pilot.
Yep.
And you bought an airplane. What'd you buy?
I have a 46 7AC Champ.
A Champ. So your tail wheel.
No
Fixed to be commercial.
endorsement.
So you have got it going on. No doubt about it. The DC-3 is going to do a lot of flying in 2023. I predict it's going a lot of places. I'm doing some AQP road shows. I'm doing a whole bunch of dog stuff. I'm way ahead on this airplane. Due to the donations people have sent in, $1 and $2 at a time, I'm ahead on fuel. I'm ahead on parts. I can now afford to launch this airplane at a moment's notice and go get a load of dogs anywhere. The airplane is set and locked and loaded, and I don't have to go through the process of whatever Humane Society calls negotiating how we're going to do this and how we're going to get donors to pay for fuel and all that kind of stuff. All I need to know is where do you want me and where do you want them taken. I've got the volunteers, I've got the whole network already set up, so I'm really excited to start getting involved in that stuff here in 2023. And for those of you who have donated $1 and $2 towards my Airborne Animal Rescue, this is the product. I started that 6 months ago, and it's done really good. I'm very happy with all of that, and I very much appreciate that. My fuel kitty is up high enough now. I'm above $12,000 in my fuel kitty, which doesn't. I mean, it sounds like a lot of money, but I go through $12,000 in this airplane real quick. So this airplane holds 800 gallons of gas. And fuel is basically $5 a gallon. So it's to fill it up all the way up is $4,000 for one fill up. So it goes through that. So, but it's going to work. And I think that my concept of people that support what I'm doing on AQP, they want to see the DC-3 fly, and us being able to use all volunteers to help this airborne animal rescue thing is a great concept. And the most important part is that it's only $1 or $2 for the people that can afford it to electronically donate something towards this effort. And look what it's done. I've got new mags, new carb, new tires, new brakes. I'm so far ahead on this airplane right now. It's crazy.
So that's it. That's 2022, 2023. We've got more stuff coming up. I'm still going to do I'm still going to do a video every Sunday night, but I'm also doing my documentaries. In 2022, I had 2 DB Cooper documentaries. I did a Colgan documentary and several other videos that stay up permanently. Those will definitely stay up. The other videos are coming down. The weekly videos will definitely come down every 6 days. And we'll do each one of those as a live premiere. So the chat room's open every Sunday night, and that's been met with very good success, and I appreciate you following that and paying close attention. That's some fun stuff coming up for 2023. Here's some more stuff that we're going to do in 2023. We're doing more speaking engagements for AQP. Remember, if you want me to come and talk to whoever you want to, your group, your EAA chapter, your club, whatever, it's free. I'll travel to your location. If you get a group in a pilot meeting or a pilot town hall meeting, I'm glad to come and explain to your flight school, your group, what AQP is and how this thing works and how you can voluntarily help your group attempt to lower the general aviation fatal accident rate. Remember, my theme for 2023 is definitely Staying Alive. The Bee Gees song, Staying Alive. You use the ACS to get alive and get your pilot's license. Now we want to use AQP to stay alive, maintain it, and know the scenarios. Be ready for any one of those scenarios that could happen to you as they start to unfold on the horizon here going forward. Be ready for the surprise sucker punch that's going to get to you in your airplane. Don't make me come to your town and make a video about how you died in your airplane. Okay, remember January 9th, that's a little over a week away. I'll be down in Jacksonville, Florida. Here's the graphic for that. In the morning is a seminar basically for stakeholders in the flight training industry, flight school owners, business owners, managers, things like that, of flight schools. It has to do with the vaccination and how the vaccination is going to affect things going forward, how the FAA might possibly deal with medical issues for the vaccination. That's in the morning. And then in the afternoon is an AQP and coffee meet and greet. There's a bunch of us. We'll have the Lockheed Electra down there. Glenn, Lizzie, and Jacob and I will all be down there for the afternoon, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of flying, but if you want to see the Lockheed Electra that was used in the movie Amelia, we'll all be there, and should be a great time. Look forward to seeing you in Jacksonville, Florida. That's Craig Field. Here's the graphic for it. Make sure you email an RSVP to Meredith if you're going to show up, so she's got a general idea. Refreshments all afternoon at Holiday Aviation at Craig Field in Jackson, Florida. Now here's the video that we recorded. I know it's not Christmas anymore, but I'm going to leave this song on here because this is hilarious. This has to do with how musicians score out a song and play it impromptu. You can watch the interaction between this girl, who was our Uber driver that took me out to Pagefield to see the Bonanza crash out here in Oklahoma. But she was such a trooper to sit down and record this with us, and quite the vocalist. We all did really good. Most of all, we had fun. This is more of the kind of thing that I want to do in 2023. More music, more impromptu stuff. We script it, we lay it out, and we record it. And whatever happens, happens. It works really good. I put Dylan on drum, but we didn't really have a drum. And the song that we wanted to record for Christmas that we didn't get to play on Christmas was The Little Drummer Boy. And Dylan is the little drummer boy in this, so we recorded this. I hope you all have a great 2023. Look forward to seeing you every Sunday night from now on with weekly accident data for the general aviation fatal accident rate, and I hope that we can get this thing pointed downward. Hope to see you on the road. The DC-3 is going to be on the road in 2023. I'm going to be on the road. I look forward to seeing you, and it's going to be a great year. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up. Thanks for following the channel. Look forward to seeing you on next week's video. For my tiny little, itty bitty fledgling YouTube channel, Dan Grider, Public Cause. Well, holiday happy cheers. I'm here with my two best friends. Well, one best friend. This is Lexi.
Hi.
My Uber driver. She took me out to the Page Airport this morning. It turns out she's also a vocalist. Really cool. So we're going to lay down a quick guitar song. And then Dylan, my other non-best friend, he's more of a mooch than anything else. But we're going to lay down a quick song because we didn't get to do a Christmas song here. But Lexi's quite the vocalist. So this is unrehearsed. We've kind of just sketched this together and see what happens here. But this is Little Drummer Boy, Dan style, the way I want to do it.
The way you want it.
All right, so here's what we'll do. We'll start out, Dylan. You bring in the drum part after our first me and my drum, okay?
Okay.
And then we're going to end up a cappella with no guitar, and me and him on drum. We'll do the last verses all a cappella.
And I'm going to follow you for the spacing.
That's fine. I'll count it out, and then also you're going to stay melody. I'll stay harmony for you. So you're the star of the show. Okay, ready?
All right.
1, 2, ready, go. I'll bring you in. Here we go.
They told me, ba-da-ba-bum-bum, I was born king to see, ba-da-ba-bum-bum. Our finest gifts we bring, ba-da-ba-bum-bum, to lay before the king, ba-da-ba-bum-bum, ba-ba-bum-bum, ba-ba-bum-bum. They told me, ba-da-ba-bum-bum, me and my drum.
It's great. It's great.
Thanks for singing with us.
Of course. Thank you for having me. It's been an honor. Woo.
All right. What do you think?
Perfect.
Great. Awesome.